at this time. We can get to start.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I come from Bob Carlson. I'm representing Bethany College this evening. And we want to speak about the ordinances at 4939 that propose parking changes to 500 block of North 2nd Street. And let me preface everything I'm going to say. We want to be good neighbors. We want to be part of the solution. Maybe there's another alternative that would also help Bethany College, so we can do this together. Okay. The houses immediately west of the dorm wing should receive relief. If you've driven down that street, you can see they need the parking. So that should be allowed there. The thing we don't want to lose are 10 parking spaces on the east side that are past the wing to Swenson. If you move parking to the other side, there's 4 driveway openings there, which takes up a lot of it. There's very little parking. We will police the area if you don't want to permit it, have permitted parking. Student Life will police that area. I mean, we'll work our tails off to take care of that and get away from the negative concept of having fines, tickets, etc. So briefly, I think you can give an alternative proposal, and I'll hang around till later if you have other questions.
That'd be great. I did ask you to come up and just introduce yourself, and we'll bring it up again when we get to the whole business.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Stephanie Russell. You all should have a letter from me written on the matter of the chicken ordinance. Right now it's a 200-foot spacing requirement. Basically, I'm asking that that be amended to exclude the spacing and maybe address the actual concerns that come from owning kind of like farmer animals in the city ordinances. Hutchinson's ordinance addresses what I view to be the key issues that the citizens are going to have: sight, smell, I lost my place, all of that, without having a spacing requirement. Some of the proposals that I gave were to limit the number of chickens that people can have so that we're not just running everywhere. Make sure that they're in a cage with a coop. No roosters, noisy, not needed for egg production. And if necessary, have a fee for a license for residents so that code enforcement is able to monitor the situation so that it's not out of control. My understanding is this has been brought up before and that people aren't quite open to it. I think there was problems with it in the past. Really, there's a lot of benefits to being able to have chickens. As a family of 6, rising grocery prices is getting out of control. And with the recent avian flu in the Iowa region, sorry, it's been a long day. I can't talk. We bought an 18 count of eggs, and it was $9 this weekend. That's a lot of money when you're looking at feeding 6 people. So we're kind of trying to produce more of our own food, and this is one thing that I would like to see change so that we're able to do that for our family and also be able to teach our kids those valuable traditional lessons of hard work and producing for yourself.
Okay. I appreciate your input at this time. What we will do is to give our staff time to pull our ordinance out, and we can all have a good discussion on it for our next council meeting.
Okay.
We'll be sure it's on for a new item at that point. You're welcome to come back again and, voice your ideas, and then that, and they'll be logged into the minutes and with Gary today, and we'll be glad to take it up again, look at it all again. We do have your letter already in that, so.
Awesome. Thank
We're
you.
planning to do that next.
October 5th.
Yeah.
October 5th.
Thank
All right.
you.
Thank you very much. Any other public input today? Seeing none, amendments to the agenda, council members, any amendments to the agenda? Hearing none, moving to the mayor's report. A couple of items to report on. sure there's opportunities to volunteer. Becky, I think you're part of the committee. And there's always good opportunities there to volunteer and be a part of Hellings Fest and celebrating our Swedish heritage event. So please join in where you can, and if nothing else, please come out and enjoy the day with all of our visitors that do come here and greet them and be a part of their exceptional, great day that they're going to have. Next item I want to talk about is the B. Everybody knows what the B line is, express, the stops, not B's.
I thought
The
you
B
were
line.
talking about the DUIs, immunized vehicles on the streets.
Not the B-Beds.
Sunday over.
No, the B line has made a request to have an adjustment, and Greg could probably speak further to this, to their line that comes through at 2:30 in the morning. Is that correct, Greg?
Comes through twice a day. In the afternoon, let's see, in Lindsborg, it's about 4 o'clock. It also comes through in the morning at 2:30 a.m.
Didn't know that one.
They are proposing changing the route. It's subsidized by KDOT. The reason they're proposing to change it is because of lack of ridership, like point. It is a
Bus service.
instead of a Greyhound bus service, KDOT contracts with village charters to provide a service from Salina to Wichita as a mass transportation.
You could ride Wichita for
Am
like
I
5
the only one that didn't know what that was?
They come through town every day
Maybe
about
they have a
4.
problem with.
They break.
No, I see
They
them.
break as they go by.
I see them driving by. They, it's in Scott's, you know,
It's-
Well, what's the proposal?
and in the afternoon.
To
4 in the
eliminate,
afternoon is one.
yeah, continue the 4 o'clock service, but eliminate the 2:30 service so that they could provide a Wichita to the Newton Amtrak service instead. And for Lindsborg, there was a
Monthly.
monthly average boarding of 0.3, so it's not a high
2:30.
utilized service. The reason we bring it up is because they're seeking any input into that if anybody has it, so.
When they first came to town, I know they came to the ad hoc group and talked about it a little bit, but I think this part of it doesn't go all the way to Garden City or beyond.
Well, that's a separate line. There's one from Wichita out to Garden City. This route is from Salina, Lindsborg to McPherson to Hutchinson, Newton, and then Wichita,
And they're back.
and up and back.
And you'll see it says B-Line on the side. And B-Line Express.
So it still would be one bus south and one bus north.
Correct.
That's reasonable.
Salina, Lindsborg, McPherson, Hutch, Newton, and Wichita are their stops.
It's not a direct route, which
No. So if you have any concerns on that, KDOT is asking for some input on that. Next item, just as a thank you to the hospital and the health and Marks and many of them, we were a big part of that over the weekend. And thank you for all your efforts there and everybody to help get that on the consent agenda. There's a date correction on the minutes in the heading. It's stated August instead of September. Please note that. I also, Chief, is Sarah Golden here for? No. So we have a new member that's coming on there. We also have 2 new golf course advisory members, Mike Breyer and Mark Friesen. What is your desire on the consent agenda?
Move to accept.
second.
All those in favor, please have a roll call. Look right here, big pink, I read it. I almost got there again. Roll call, please.
Oh, I didn't have to stop you.
No?
Okay, Becky? Yes. Emo?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Cory?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
Betty? Yes. Kelly? Yes.
We often, though, ask that these people whom we are appointing attend this meeting. And we're getting fewer and fewer of them. For those people who are presenting them, I'd like to ask that they come, and so we can see who they are.
Okay, so noted, thank you. Let's move on to item number 8, old business. This is ordinance 4939, permitted parking 500 North Second Street. That's correct. Item number 8, old business, ordinance 4939, permitted parking 500 North Second Street.
I read with interest Councilman Peterson's alternative plan. I have no reasons to
No.
He's there to answer questions.
Ready.
Along with answer questions.
Do we need a motion for this, or if we don't have a motion, it dies for lack of a motion, or?
Bill's gonna advise us.
Was this ordinance placed on the table?
Yes.
Okay, and you move to take it off the table, then you can discuss.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we take this off the table for discussion.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you, Bill, for the delayment.
Then I'd like to go ahead and make a motion for discussion purposes, that we approve ordinance 4939.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded, Bill, taking it off the table, does that mean making a motion, or it does not?
It does, but I think this is appropriate because this is a slightly different wording on this ordinance as the one that you considered last time. So I think it's appropriate here.
Thank you very much, Steve. It's been moved and seconded, further discussion on 4939.
Chief, can you just give us an update on the changes we made from last council meeting to this council meeting? What has been changed within this ordinance?
I think the biggest change was just the allowing the permits to be used from now to the end of the year, included in 2016. I think that was the biggest change.
Yeah, actually, there was a couple other things in there. I was asked to reword a little bit of this. Somebody raised the issue last time about long-term storage parking, so the word storage came out. There is the change, which the way this is currently written says that if a permit is issued now, it's good until December 31st, 2016, to avoid any proration on the first year's permit. It also, there was some question last time about guest permits and what a bona fide guest was. So in lieu of the bona fide language, I put in a clause saying that a guest permit was good on the same vehicle for no more than 7 days, so that you don't get into some question as to what a bona fide guest is. Same thing on the guest permit about the December 31st, 2016, if something's issued now. And then there was an old section 5 in here. Section 4 talked about guest permits and said you were eligible for one permit. And then section 5 in the old ordinance said, well, you can apply for more guest permits. And those two didn't seem to match, so I took that out. Okay, those are the changes.
So everybody hears and understands the changes. I'm going to call on Jenny, you were on to.
Yeah, I read with interest what Corey went to time and trouble to develop as an alternate solution, working in cooperation with Bethany College. And I think the phraseology that Provost Carlson used, where he suggests that we eliminate policing, tickets, fines, which isn't a good way to be a good neighbor to our students at all. But additionally, one of the council's concerns was the amount of time and it was going to take on our local police force to police and ticket that area. Again, Provost Carlson has provided a solution to that by saying that the policing will be done by canvas security. Further, we were afraid that we were establishing a precedent by doing permitted parking in one area when we have obvious other areas, and what kind of wildfire do we start there? So I would have to say that we need to look at going back to the drawing board for a third or fourth time and incorporating the changes presented by Councilman Peterson.
Provost Carlson, would you step up? I have a couple of questions. If you're step
Yeah,
up,
I guess-
so those in the public can hear
I've
us.
got one for the chief too.
Okay.
And Tim, I assume you've had a chance to look at this, the second proposal.
Not too much, no.
He's aware of it.
Yeah.
I'm aware of it.
Well, I get that. We're still gonna have, in my eyes anyway, regardless of which entity is gonna try and police this, I still think the city's gonna be involved in some type of policing on it. Invariably, there's gonna be times where the residents may not be satisfied with the type of policing that's gone on with whichever it's the city or with the college. So I still would like to have the chief, have a lot of time or more time to look at this, kind of digest it all, and even get with Bethany College. I'm not opposed to this by any means, but I think give the chief time to talk to the college about it and, see how they feel to them, how it would all work out.
I think that's it, going back to the drawing board for a third or fourth time is exactly what we need to do.
I have a question for Provost Carlson. And it has to do with the policing effort on that. And I realize we're in a new area, you're new to the job and openness and all of that, but I'm going to refer back to the time when the side church shared parking lot with the new dorm in the south side that was put in by the church. And to be shared in that ended up being full of, and the word that I got when I was treasurer at that point was, we won't do the policing, we don't have the ability, we don't have the time, and kind of what Rick's talking about, how do we know cars and this and that. So I guess I'm throwing out the past, wanting to look at the windshield, but also.
And I'll agree with you.
knowing what the past was.
So you should throw that past out because I'm going to ask you to throw it out.
Okay, and that's great.
This is a new era, but also our student life staff is in a much better position now.
Great.
Plus, the real entrance to all of this storm is around the corner. So most of the parking is going to tend to flow that way anyway.
Okay.
But Matt Morgan, who's the head of student life, has pledged that this will be part of it. He just lives around the corner of one of those houses. He's pledged this will be, so he is a neighbor. So we will police it, yes.
Do you decal your car so you know that this is car 114 with a little sticker on it so they can figure it out?
They should have,
Yeah, sure, everybody should know what that is, okay. Let's say down the road, things are going great and things were working good and all of a sudden next semester you get new people in and they, abide by the rules and all of that and the members of the neighborhood come back and, is there an opportunity, do you feel that you would come back and repledge policing or do you think that at some point enough's enough and we move forward with something else?
Okay, I pledged to be the provost for 2 years.
Okay.
So I'll give you 2 years.
Hey, I can't ask for more than that. I'll be done by then. So.
But again, even if there does need to be permitting in that short block, the half block, that's understandable.
Yeah.
But when you do the whole block, it kind of does put a different shade on it.
And I don't want you to think I'm trying to be negative. I'm
No,
just trying to
no,
say,
no,
I appreciate where we're going
Right.
and everything that's happening and all of that, but I think it is something out on the table just as,
It would be something maybe we could try it this way for a while. If it doesn't work, fine, we go with the permits in that area.
okay.
We're willing to work with planning.
My next question then too is with the residents that brought this issue to us in the first place, have you all had a chance to look at the map or review anything from the college? I know this is pretty darn new information. So yeah, I would be hesitant to make a decision on this without having them look at it and get the discussion process going and see where it comes and bring it back to us at the next council meeting.
Before we go to
No, that's good. I would say, let's get all our questions down on the table today. Let's get the information to the homeowners and then let's see where we go after that.
Of course, we still have a motion.
I know we understand we do, so.
My question would be this. Right now, we're talking about one specific small area. Whenever you're talking about parking with Bethany, and regardless of whatever we've said, if it's a small area or a parking issue in Grand, you still have to educate the students regardless. It's going to be a lot harder to educate students about, well, you can't park on this one side of half of a block. And that probably is to try to set up something where, hey, these are designated parking areas, you need to abide by them, or people out looking for you. We'll put something on your car. I know Wichita State and some other colleges have parking that way. I mean, so would it be easier for you to police a grand scheme kind of like that than just one specific little area? Or is it still even worse because you have more area?
It may be the negative aspect of the fact that we're gonna start finding people and that, if we can try to keep that from happening. But again, I'm not personally totally opposed to that little piece in front of the houses by the wing there, because I understand that that's a major problem of that being off limits totally to college students. Should we?
My feeling is unless things have changed dramatically, all students won't have permits, even though we say they should have.
That may be true.
Well, and
Faculty don't either.
yeah, that's right.
Programs
And
doesn't-
Bill brought up this about the church. I bring up the fact of Nelson Science, which is supposed to be faculty and staff only, and there are all kinds of students who park there. And I just don't think the college can adequately police this, if you will, in the spot, in the sense of good neighbors. I'm all for that too, but I don't think this is practical.
Betty?
I do think the advantage the college has, especially in light of new leadership and a better staffed student activities, dean of students, whatever they're called, because you have all their contact information. I would suspect it's not unusual for students to get text messages. I mean, they have access to the students 24/7. We have to track them down. Maybe it's not hard for a police officer to track down a student that is always misparking in the wrong place, but I bet it's easier for the college to find them.
Yeah, they wouldn't move immediately, unless it's, there's somebody can come in overnight from somewhere else out of town and park there, and then obviously we're not gonna be able to deal with that. Maybe a friend visiting or something, but that will happen.
Well, that's the thing, is that it still is a public right of way, and if it's open to, right now, that whole block is, you cannot park there. It's interesting, because this goes back to the original discussion, or later in the summer, right before the dorm opened. The original request by the homeowners was to open up, keep the parking open as it had been while the dorm was under construction. And we've gotten to fairly elaborate now ordinances and conversations. And it seems like now we're more open to having parking open, but yet a couple months ago, we couldn't do that because of safety concerns. So I guess I'm confused why it's okay now as a proposal, but it wasn't a couple months ago when the homeowners originally emailed their council persons and the mayor and they talked to the chief, so.
Well, I was thinking about this. First of all, I was trying to find a good solution that would take care of the residents.
But
And work-
exactly, it is a
but-
good solution,
but-
except it's the same thing that they proposed to begin with.
The only difference is we keep the no parking on the south half or third of the block, where there's parallel parking on the east side of the.
Right, which is how it was all through the summer and through the construction of the dorm. There was no parking, there was parking allowed across
Just-
the dorm, but not the other half of the block. It's already been like that. So,
So maybe it
going
is,
back to
maybe it's the exact
this new
same.
original plan is actually something that was in place.
Great minds think alike.
Chief, you want to step up and address the safety?
Well, I think, I kind of just addressed that a little bit before, there was nobody living in the dorms at the time. And one of the main reasons that we wanted to have that access was to be able to get a fire truck to that location in case we were to have a fire call to that particular building, which we have a fire lane to Ash. Most of the other streets that go to a dorm that's occupied, we have control so that we can get a fire truck to those locations. And it wasn't a big concern at the time because nobody was living in the dorm. And that was my reasoning, was to allow.
There were
parking,
people living in the houses.
but not in the dorm.
Concentrated.
Yeah, I understand. The same as at Bethany Home, where that road, that street is quite a bit more narrow than Second Street.
That one block.
There are quite a few people living there as well in a concentrated location.
So maybe to clarify, then you're saying that the
That's
north half of 500 block of Second Street, where the angle parking is, if you had parallel parking on the other side, on the west side, that would be a safety hazard?
saying that if you allow parking on both sides of the street, on the south end of that block, it narrows up.
Okay. And I can
Not
understand
the
that.
north.
Not you asked, yes, I was asking about it. Okay, yeah, I would agree. Let's see how that might be on the south end.
Chief, in your safety recommendation, and one reason we rolled back to where we are today is that we were trying to accommodate, the homeowners and the college and everybody else. What is your safety opinion of allowing parking on the north half on the west side? Are you following my question?
My opinion,
Yes, your opinion of safety as our chief safety officer.
well, my opinion is that currently, the way it's set up, it works, it's not broke. I don't know why we're trying to fix something that's not broke for a small amount of people. That's my opinion.
That doesn't answer the question for the safety.
Well, that's, sorry, try again.
So, do you think that having cars parked on the west side, on the north half of North 500 Street, those North Second, causes a safety issue for the dorms now that it is fully occupied?
No,
Okay, what I just heard was you think parallel parking on the west side would be okay up to the point if we're gonna have it on the east side.
it's wide.
They don't cross over. So you come down the street and cut over with a fire truck, you're still okay.
It would be wide enough on the north end, yes.
Okay.
Bob, I'd like to ask you one more question, that is, if the people on the west side of the street or anyone else who's not a college student decides to park, let's say, in the diagonal parking by the dorm, are you gonna give them a ticket?
That's off-street parking, so it's not controlled by the police.
No, I'm asking Bob.
No, I'm not. We could bring that up, but I doubt we would.
So, I mean, these people who live in those houses could park out their diagonal parking
You're not
if there
gonna
were
find one.
space.
You're not gonna find one of those.
No, I agree with that, but they could.
Yeah, we would not force that issue.
If they parked there in August, I mean, then maybe when they went someplace else in November, they could move there. That's fine.
Yeah, that would be a problem.
Are there other specific questions reference to ordinance 4939 as it stands today to do permitted parking with all the other restrictions that are in there?
I don't have a particular question, but I certainly do applaud the college for being willing to work with the students and educate them with the limitations of parking, and that it's a huge issue for the students, it's an issue for the residents on that little North Second. So I think it's great that you're here to talk about that and to let them know and have staff people devoted to trying to keep that that open, should it be open to parking.
We're also thrilled to have the dorm and thrilled to have the students. So, that's the other side.
Okay.
All right, no more questions. Bill has.
Just one other comment I didn't mention before, and that is only if you actually consider adopting this ordinance, so I guess there is a motion on the table.
There's a motion on the table to adopt.
Let's talk about it right now. In the last sentence of section 3A, it says for the purposes of this division, it should read for purposes of this section. In other words, substitute the word section for division.
Everybody understands what we're talking about? Okay. Before you is a motion on 4939. You'll have an opportunity to vote.
Don't we vote for table at first if we want to?
You can do what you want. I'm just asking where we're at. So,
We have a motion on the table, so how do we deal with that?
Well, you can have.
it's untabled. It's out there for voting.
Yes,
again.
you could either vote yes or no on this. You could also have a motion to put it back on the table.
I move that we put it back on the table.
Excuse me, remove it from the table. I'm sorry.
Remove it from the table.
Table the motion.
Okay, so I have a motion.
Second.
been moved and seconded to table this motion until the next meeting with further discussion of all parties.
And I don't suspect I can ask a question at this point.
That's true.
That's true. There's no discussion on a motion to table.
So, you have the opportunity to table this. Does that take a roll call?
No.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
No.
The ayes carried. Table until the October 5th meeting.
I do have a comment, though. I still would appreciate making sure the homeowners get a copy of this, so they have a chance to review it, talk to the chief, the college.
Bring extra copies.
All right, thank you all very much.
Yeah, we got it.
Yeah.
We did.
All right, moving on to new business. Item A, Rural District Number 8 agreement. Larry?
This is just an annual update. We usually increase the services by 3%. So we're just looking for a proposal for the 2016 agreement, a 3% increase to $5,106 annually.
Council, what is your desire?
Motion to approve.
Moved and seconded. Email. Further discussion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Kelly? Yes. Betty? Yes. Rick?
Yes.
Corey?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Emo?
Yes.
Becky?
Thank you, Larry. Item B, electric cutout covers. Tim, do you wish to rise to speak about this?
I'd like to purchase 100 credit cards.
These will help us with our outages. What is your desire, council?
Motion to approve the purchase of $2,223.50 to Chris Davis for,
Isn't it 1,685?
I'm not in the wrong quote,
Yeah, I think you already have it already.
I'm sorry.
This plus tax.
Okay.
1,685.
I'd like to make the motion to purchase 100 cutout covers from Chris Davis at a cost of $1,685 plus sales.
Second.
Is there sales tax on that?
I'd like to purchase the
Okay.
tax.
Moved and seconded to approve the purchase.
Who was the second? Oh,
David?
Pardon? Oh.
sorry.
I know the original, you had more budgeted for this, but your expectation to use those somewhere else?
Next item, yes.
Okay. In the ultimate end, how many recruiter guards do we need? How many cutouts?
I don't have that count.
More than 100, less than 10,000?
Yes.
Okay.
Is this, I'm just asking for my own edification here. Is this like a junction box in a house where you've got an opening on the top of the box and we're putting a plug of some kind there?
No.
Okay.
So up top pole where, we have cutouts where we can break the power off. That's where squirrels get in.
Yeah.
Short get across. So we'll
Okay.
cover those so they get short.
Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Becky? Yes. Emo?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Corey?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
Betty? Yes. Kelly? Yes. Thank you.
Thank you all. Item C are the electric meter quote. What is your desire?
Make a motion, we approve the purchase of 100 radio read electric meters at a cost of $5,500 plus tax. And I don't see, where was that from?
Standing.
Standing, I'm sorry, thank you.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded by Councilman Peterson. Discussion on this item to purchase 100 radio read electric meters. This gets us closer to our projected goal of all
Yes.
radio read, a small amount next year.
If we get to the end of the year, we still have money left in commodities, I'll probably try to buy more of the cutout covers as well as maybe another 100 meters.
Okay. Other discussion? Reference electric meter quote? Roll call, please.
Kelly,
Yes.
Betty,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Emo,
Yes.
Becky.
Yes.
Thank you, Tim. Item D has to do with the, Christmas lighting contest for this year. We did do this last year. I'm going to refer it over to our city administrator for any thoughts from him.
I think it's a letter, I think Tim should speak.
Tim, you want to talk about Christmas lighting contest?
It was his idea.
I've got nothing nice to say, so I'll just shut up.
Good call.
It's Nathan Griswold.
Last year was the first year of the Christmas lighting contest sponsored by the electric utility. Prizes were given for first, second, and third place for best residential display.
He's thinking about all the money coming in.
We had 9 entries in the residential category. We also had best neighborhood, which had no entries. Couple of questions is one, do you want to do this again? And if so, same prize amounts, and also whether you would want to have a neighborhood category since we didn't have any interest from a neighborhood standpoint. Cost of the program is $500. And then if you do a neighborhood program, the cost of a traveling trophy, which wouldn't be excessive.
Last year was the first year of doing this?
Yes, the first year. And the decision to do it was made at a later date last year. We're bringing it forward now so we can do a better job of marketing the program so people can plan, etc. We also thought it'd be a good idea to tie it into the holiday season promotional program of Winter Wonderland.
I move that we do that, have the contest again, but eliminate the best neighborhood and for $500.
It's been moved to continue the program with the elimination of the neighborhood portion of that. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Further discussion.
I wonder if anyone has heard anything about the money, the city money, or what is it called? Anyway, that was
The
spent.
bucks.
The
If
bucks.
are spent.
It's almost gone.
Okay.
There
Because
were-
then the retailers bring it back
Mhm.
to you when it's used. Okay.
Good question. Other
They have
questions?
until December of this year to use it, so there's still some out there, but not a lot.
Okay.
Did it seem to get kind of some community spirit up, or was there much buzz about it? I don't recall hearing.
That could be because it was later last year
Right.
when we started talking about it. So
Yeah.
hopefully this year will pick up a little bit. I saw a little bit on Facebook, people kind of talked about it. They're probably the ones who won. I mean, I guess I never think they were excited about it.
Additional discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
We don't need a roll call.
Well, we're questioning.
You're spending money.
We are spending money on the lighting displays.
Mhm.
Let's have a roll.
Prizes.
Okay. Becky,
Lighting displays.
Emo,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Betty,
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes. Mayor, I'm sorry, I have a question that I need clarification on, going back to a line item,
Okay, which one?
and that was on the critter guards.
Credit card.
I started to read the motion for the total amount from the quotation from Chris Davis, because while the cover guards are $1,685, there's another line item there for $538.50. So the motion ended up being for just $1,685, when the quote is for $22,23.50.
It was quote for the two denominations. If you buy 30, it's this price. If you buy 100, it's this price.
Okay,
so you do have, I just want to make sure that there was enough money approved for exactly what was wanted. And the more I look at it, the more confused I was.
The way that quote was written is not very clear.
Well, thank you for that, I appreciate it. Well, it says right here. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councilperson Wilson, for looking at that and keeping this in line. Next item, 150th anniversary.
No.
No.
No, downtown center, sorry.
Downtown, as part of the downtown infrastructure project, conduit, et cetera, was put in place for a downtown sound system back in March. Proposals were received from several different companies. And Hot Sound and Electric was the consensus to award the proposal to, but they weren't actually engaged. The idea was because of the investment of the downtown infrastructure project, to have a community-based effort to fund the sound system. I guess as of this morning, because when I wrote this up last week, the amount raised was right around $8,500, and as of this morning, $9,800 is in the bank for the program. They're
With a grant of 2,000 slots.
still outstanding. So the request is to go ahead and approve the cost of the equipment without the installation, so that the equipment can go ahead and be ordered to help expedite the process instead of waiting until the grant award, et cetera, until it's fully funded. So that the cost of equipment under the proposal without installation is $8,436.18.
Can we ask questions yet, or we have?
I'll make the motion to approve the purchase.
We have a motion for
Second.
$8,436.18. With a second, please ask your question.
There was a question this morning about who actually owns this equipment and who's going to maintain it. Is this going to be city property paid for by the business community and others, or is it going to be owned? There's no real ad hoc group. It's ad hoc, so there's no ownership there. So the question is, who owns this equipment once it's purchased?
I mean, that's a good question. Speaking from just experience of how these type of programs have typically operated, the ownership has, or the responsibility of ownership has fallen onto the city. The city has accepted and maintained it from that point forward.
So who writes the check for the equipment?
The city goes.
The city.
We're going to give all the money to the city. Ad hoc, is transferring money, we don't have any of that.
So then it seems like it would be owned by the city. Okay.
Other questions?
Isn't it awesome what a community can do when they come together when they want something?
Yeah.
Yes.
Roll call, please.
Becky? Yes. Eno?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Cory?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
Betty?
Yes.
Kelly? Yes.
Now we're ready for item F, the 150th anniversary. This came from a discussion that Betty, I believe, asked to have this brought forward for new business this time off of last time's projects listing and no action or whatever for several months and the 150th. Currently, those on the anniversary committee are Susan Achenbach, I believe, is chair, Jim Rubel, and Joyce Peterson. There have been several ins and outs off this committee. People have come and gone already as we move forward down the track towards the Sesquicentennial.
Yes, very good.
That's very good.
150th
road, Bill.
Yeah. Sesquicentennial, 150th anniversary, which is in 2019. So, that's the state of the 150th today. I would say that, looking for names to be brought forward by this council. It is a mayor's appointed committee, and I would look for any names to be brought forward of those that wish to be actively engaged for the next 4+ years to make the 150th anniversary of Lindsborg a huge success as it was, I believe, at the 125th. Is that correct? So,
I was one of those that came in and went out. I accepted that prior to knowing I would be serving on council, and that was one of the things that had to go. During my time there, I think what would help the committee, I think it was kind of put on the committee to come up with the ideas and the scheme and everything that was going to happen, and I think there's a little trouble putting everything together and what do we really want to do as a community for the 150th, whether it's going to be one big event or events throughout the year. And I think we kind of narrowed it down to utilizing existing events and adding some special touches to make it fit with the 150th and maybe some other special events. But I think if we could ever get focused on what we want to do, I think the committee could take off, but it's just getting over that hump. It's kind of my opinion of it.
Well, I think the best thing you need to do is make a decision, and then the community will tell you no. I mean, you just gotta start. You just gotta start.
and I think that's where we are today. We need
Yeah.
those initial starters and all that think outside the box. And, could anybody visualize a big tea-made golf ball or whatever made out of plastic jugs? Remember that? That was outside the box thinking. Never happened, but it was outside the box thinking.
Yeah.
Our recycling that we have today and all of that, where we've gotten to and how that all came about, by people's visions out there. So, Betty, I don't know if that helps you understand where we are, or if you have specific things that you wish to bring up in that. Again, I'll just ask for names of those that wish to step up and help Susan and Jim and Joyce and others that become a part of this committee and make the thing happen. Now, we do have money that's being set aside towards this event each year, and so we've looked at the funding side and feel there's a source there that can help us get started and do things. I'm sorry.
I think my intent with asking was trying to keep the conversation alive. So as people become more engaged with seeing our meetings on YouTube and in reading the minutes, that they know it's out there, they know it's struggling, they know that if there's a committee that could use some help. So mostly the question was asked not to point a finger of blame, but to keep the conversation going. What is that they say? Front of mind awareness. That's what this project needs. It needs some top of the mind, not front, top of the mind awareness.
Is this something that has been discussed with the ad hoc committee, those that are on?
Not really.
Well, I guess, and where I'm going with that is it out of the realm of possibility for ad hoc to become involved in that? I mean, I don't know if that's outside the scope of what ad hoc wants to do or tries to do, but
Frankly, ad hoc, there seems to be some pressing issue every single week that, we only meet for an hour.
yeah.
And so we just, but if we requested, Susan or whomever it is, we would like a dedicated discussion. That can get on the agenda.
Yeah. And I'm not trying to throw anything on somebody's table that doesn't need to be there, but just looking at past history of what ad hoc committee has done and just the positive attitudes that come out of that committee, to me, this just looks like a natural thing for them to discuss as well. Of course, it's easy for me to say that because I'm not. That's why I'm looking down at this end of the thing.
You're welcome to attend. That Monday morning.
We're going to be off for a couple of months.
You and anybody else.
I was spoken too soon on that.
I think that's a reasonable thing to do.
You're not
I think
going
it
to
is,
work for a while, are you?
Yeah, that's what, yeah.
In no way, I was not trying to call you out, Corey, or anybody else that's left. But people have never gone today. People are busier than ever, and we've always been busy, but I use that as an excuse sometimes when I don't get, something done or can't join some other committee or whatever. So I guess we're looking for that. I think going to the ad hocers is great, generating some excitement there. Maybe somebody out of that committee, one or two, will want to join and become that brain trust that gets us some ideas and we can put them out there for the future of the event that will be held in 2019. So it is only 4 years away. That seems like a long time, but to do and match the excellence of what happened in 125, I think we need that time to make those things happen. So if you have names specific that you wish me to talk to, or after you talk to them or whatever, please address those through email to me or written word if you do that, and I'll be glad to try and make those things happen.
Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you again to Susan, Jim, and Joyce for your dedication to keep us going, and we're going to find you some help and figure this successful centennial out. So, next item is item 10, executive session.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we go into executive session for 10 minutes to discuss matters related to the purchase of real estate and to include the city attorney and city administrator.
Been a motion, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Back. We'll start to close it.
That's right. Start the button.
All right, we'll call ourselves back into session with no action. Item number 11. Any others today?
I have just a question for you, Mayor or
Yes?
City Manager. Well, we've seen some communiques that there's a few hitches in the get along for the Hillings Fest committee, and I wondered if we had any update for that. Communication with the city.
We received the request, we're needing some maps for clarification purposes. And we're also needing some schedules defined a little tighter, and making progress.
But your comment that we're getting close.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
When is that? 2 weeks?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other, I'm sorry.
Wednesday will be 2 weeks to start setting up.
I've just got a question. Again, this morning at the ad hoc meeting, we talked briefly about banners on the downtown, possibly for Christmas. Again, are those traditionally owned by other individuals other than the city, or are those typically owned by the city? Like the ones that are up there now, those city
Those are city.
owned. If we were to get Christmas banners that would fit the new poles, would that again, I'm assuming, be a privately fundraised endeavor? In other words, the city's not going to buy Christmas banners to replace the ones that were there. I assume it's not in our budget.
Well, I can answer that question, it's not in our budget.
But you could do the same thing as the sound equipment. You could raise the money, give the money to the city to have them purchase it.
Historically, the Christmas banners have been a Chamber of Commerce project, and the city has stored them on behalf of the Chamber of Commerce.
And put them up.
And put them up, changed them up, yes.
So would the city look friendly upon the concept of another organization raising the money, purchasing banners to be used at designated time? If that organization surrendered ownership of them to the city, just donated them, is that okay?
So that might be council's decision, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's,
I mean, if it was brought, kind of like the sound system was brought up, I would assume so anyway.
It still takes city staff to put them up and take them down and all that.
Well, then, I think that should be put on the agenda for next meeting.
Did it go far enough this morning to warrant a discussion and whether we would accept it or not?
I think so.
Okay. Banner. Purchase and acceptance. Do we have a committee to accept the drawing? All right, make that happen. What else?
Mayor's choice.
Yeah. It's like the car show. Go Chevys. All right, that's all I have. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you very much, everybody.